Alright, so we have some new claims that we want to test. This was given by a co-moderator of mine in the group that I moderate. So we're going to test out these claims and see if they hold water. The first one, it's just one claim. There's two parts to the claim. So the first claim is that if you play the standard 2022 blue-red dragons, which is this is a list that I took off of Channel Fireball. So I just took this off their list of standard 2022 decks. I did replace one All-Runs Epiphany with a Hall of Giant Storm Giants because I didn't want to craft that. And I was missing one All-Runs Epiphany. So if you play this in the standard 2022 ranked queue, you get matched against black-white control 59% of the time. So let's call it like 50% of the time, right? So at least 50% of the time. So half your matchups are going to be black-white control. But that's not the case if you switch decks. Or that's the claim. Anyways, if you switch decks, then suddenly all of those black-white control decks just disappear. All right. So how are we going to do this? We're going to enter the queue 10 times with this deck. We're going to count how many times we get black-white control. Right. And it's also, of course, it's possible that black-white control is currently the most popular deck in the standard 2022 queue, especially since it is standard 2022. So there's far fewer viable decks to choose from. And those are only just viable in that pocket meta of standard 2022. So what we're going to do is after we do 10 matches with blue-red, we're going to switch to mono-green and then do another 10 matches and see how many of those we get matched against black-white control. So for those of you who don't know, black-white control is basically a tap-out control deck where you have planeswalkers like Lolth and then mass removal like Blood in the Snow, I guess. Let me check the list. Let me check the list that I was sent. Oh, there we go. Right, so this particular list has Doomscar, not Blood in the Snow, and then Elite Spellbinder, Nighthawk Scavenger. But I think Channel Fireball has a different list. If you go to, but we'll consider both of those, of course. Either of those is a hit. Either of those would be a hit. Whether you have one or the other. But for Channel Fireball, what they recommend as a competitive black-white control deck or solve control, is it the same? Let's see. It's a deck by Huey Jensen. So yeah, like I said, it's more of a snow deck, which has Elite Spellbinder still, but it has 4 Blood of the Snows, 4 Kayas. So it's a very different looking deck. It even has Professor of Symbology, Shambling Gas, and Skullport Merchant, which are creatures, right? Low CMC creatures that is actually just used for value, I guess, in this deck. All right, so let's go ahead and try this out. Okay. So we are looking for the standard 2022 ranked queue, which is this. I have these 2 decks. So first we're going to play this. So again, the claim is that if I play this deck, I will get matched against the Orzhov control deck about 50% of the time or more. So out of 10, we expect, or we are considering that we'll see it at least 5 times. So let's see. So we're not actually going, again, we are not actually going to play our matches. We're just going to look at what our opponent is and then concede. All right. So no, this is party, right? So immediately we are kind of sure that this is not or solve control, but we'll stick it out for a couple of turns just to just to be sure, just to be sure. All right, so this is I'm typing in our moderator chat the matchups as well. All right, so this clearly shows we are not up against force of control. All right, but okay, so this is band party. So you can see it, or maybe even 3-color party. So we have red. Yeah. What are those? It's pairs. Is that even in the... Oh, because it's a shapeshifter. Right, cool. All right, let's go to the next one. So the first matchup, I'm gonna type the write the matchups, is white party, white something party. Well, actually, Selesnya. So let's see. Alright, we don't care, we just keep. Let's play the island so we won't scare him off. Green is not looking like this is black, white, so this is mono green. I'm gonna type that. So we'll probably just want to see the other forest and then concede. Alright, so I think that's enough, right? We know that that's mono green. Alright, this is game number 3. So remember, the claim is that we get matched against black-white control 50% of the time. This is no covered planes, tells me this is mono-white. Let's see. Yeah, this is pretty much mono-white. So we can concede here. Right. So another mono white. Okay, we haven't seen the deck that we were looking for yet. This is already the 5th match. Maybe this is the first time. And the mirror is our next match. So you are... Right, so let's wait. Do we wait? No, this is indicative of it's not or solve. Okay, this is match 6. Mono green. Mono G. Match 6. Mono G. Yeah, we can concede. All right, so I just received word from a person asking me to do this, to try what happens if we do historic with a control deck and check how many times we get matched versus another control deck. So let's do that. Let's not do the mono green. We're clearly seeing here that... So this is another UR. We're clearly seeing here that this is not, that there's nothing to that claim, right? You don't get matched versus or solve an absurd amount of times. In fact, we haven't seen or solve yet. We haven't seen or solve yet in 8 matches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 7 matches. So let's just finish this. Maybe we'll see or solve a couple of times. So this is what I keep saying, right? If you have a claim, very easy to test. Very easy to test. All you need to do is hop onto the queue and check it out a few times, concede after you see the matchup, and you are actually going to see that there is nothing to those claims. Those claims are not really correct. Why did I do that? So another UR. Two more. Then we switch to historic. So maybe, hopefully we see it once. I mean, you see black white. It is in the meta, right? It does seem to be in the meta. I mean, Channel Fireball has a deck about it. Yeah, and if from my perspective, in a very low-powered meta like we have here in Standard 2022, since we are missing a bunch of cards, something like Blood of the on the Snow is slow but fast enough, I think, to actually be good. So let's see here. So this is a snow-covered plains. We might actually see black-white control here. Right? Earlier on, we saw mono-white aggro. That's clearly mono-white aggro. But a snow plains does not necessarily mean mono-white aggro. It could mean black-white control. Come on. All right. I think this is black-white aggro. I mean black-white control. So we have one hit. Certainly not 50%, right? It's too late for it to be 50%. Let me... Alright. So we know that this is black-white aggro. Professor of Symbology is the creature in the Channel Fireball list. Hey Melasos, testing a few more conspiracy theories. I know I tested one earlier today, but I have nothing better to do. That may not be true. I should be focusing on how to possibly beat mutate decks tomorrow. But well, there's probably going to be a lot of mutates at that tournament tomorrow, and I don't know how to beat them. Or maybe I mean, like, so this is what, Rakdos treasure. 10 is Rakdos treasure. Rakdos treasure. Yeah. 10 Rakdos Plain. Switching to historic. All right, so you can concede here. All right, so in 10 matches we met black-white control exactly one time, which is far from the claim that supposedly when you play blue-red dragons you get matched against black-white control an insane number of times. So that is not true. Even like half the time, that's not true. All right, so the other claim is that when you use when you go to historic and when you play a control deck, you get matched against control decks. Control deck. See how many times you get matched against control deck, right? So again, here we are expecting to see control decks most of the time. So here, I don't really think that it's unreasonable to see a lot of control decks right now, just because we do know that Thibaut's treachery, particularly with the new upgrade of Throes of Chaos, is making waves in best of one historic. A lot of people are playing this deck, including myself. As you can see, I have my very own Throes of Chaos here. Is it good? I haven't found like a good I mean, I think I've found a good list. It's a list that I got also from the Facebook group from someone who has been playing this deck a lot, and I'm missing omnisciences. I can craft for omnisciences if I need to, and I think that is key to this deck. You do need to have omniscience as one of your hits, because by the time you hit Throes of Chaos, you will have some cards in your hand in addition to throws that would be worthwhile to cast off of an Omniscience. And I think that may be the optimal build. Anyway, what we're trying to do here is we're going to play best of one Jeskai and see how many times we get matched against other control decks. And then we're going to switch to Tybalt's Trickery, which is far from what a control deck is, and see how many times we get matched against a control deck. Alright, let's see. We're gonna go to Historic Ranked, then best of one Jeskai. Here we go. Alright, so we have to have some parameters on what we consider control for Historic. But it's pretty much not turn 1 Temple of Abandon. I would say so. Right? Oh, but that's not... Okay. Let's not spook him by playing any, like, graveyard draw. I think this is Tybalt's Trickery. Yep, this is Tybalt's Trickery. We'll actually win here, I think. So the trick here is to let him cascade and then counter the Tybalt's Trickery. Or even like memory lapse the Trickery. You know, let's veto the Trickery. Right. Do you want to see if we can win here? Oh wait, I can do this, right? Does that help? Does that help? All right, it does help. I can get away. I can clear the throws. Ah, that's fine. I should have played the untapped land. So now it's going to draw that, but we are going to... Okay, good. We're going to exile. Alright, we got the win. And I won. Sorry for wasting your time there. So game 1 was Trickery. Let's go again. So again, the claim is that we meet control decks about half the time. So that's definitely not a control deck. Let's see if this one is. This seems like another Trickery deck. But we have memory lapses. If he concedes, I'm going to assume that it's a Trickery deck. Oh, it's a Trickery deck. Oh, maybe not. Right? Wait, I know how to make sure that he... Because he may concede, and I don't want him to concede. I don't want him to concede, and we won't know whether it's a Trickery deck, so I'm just going to like get myself open here so that he can cast the Trickery. Yeah, it's a Trickery. Alright. So we have that. All right, so this is number 3. So I'm telling the person who's making claim. In science, if something is true, it should be replicable. So he's saying that there's a lot of seeing trickery most of the time isn't variance though. No, it's the fact that a lot of people are playing the deck. It's not the matchmaker's fault. It's not the matchmaker's fault. People play decks that are fun to them, and right now this is fun. Alright, so this is Grixis Control. Game 3, Grixis Control. So we're gonna stop here and concede. So that's one control deck. All right. Okay, so this is Ramunap Red. So this is 4 Ramunap Red. So I don't think we even need to switch here, because if we don't get a lot of control decks, there's no point. For those of you who are just in, so the claim is that if you play a control deck in Historic Best of 1, you will get matched mainly against other control decks. This has so far not been true. We have matched up against 2 Trickery decks, and one Grixis control deck and a Ramunap Red deck. So only one control deck, 2 combo decks, which is understandable because Trickery is the hot deck right now in Best of 1 Historic. If you have cards for it, it's really fun to play. But you have to figure out the best. So this is another red deck with better mountains, better lands. I'm gonna do something that makes red decks happy. Yes. So this is probably another Ramunap Red. Game 5, Ramunap Red. Yeah, definitely. So this is number 6. We will not drop Relic game 1 so as not to spook our opponent. Is this the same person? Or this is, yeah, still round up red, right? I think this is still round up red. Game 6, round up red. That's a definition of not a control deck. Round up red. Which, by the way, is one of my favorite decks. Not of all time, but it will certainly make the top 20. Round up red is very interesting. It was a deck back in Kaladesh Amonkhet Standard, right? If I'm not mistaken, Kaladesh Amonkhet Standard. And it was a deck that, while it was not the most popular deck, because back then the most popular deck was Energy. Right, so this is, I don't know what this is. I don't know. This is green, white, something. Game 7, green, white enchantments. Green, white enchantments. Right, and our opponent's thinking, oh, they're conceding because of this. No. We have 2 lightning helixes. We could easily dispose of those. We're conceding because we don't care about the match. Just want to see what we were playing up against. So this is Rakdos probably. Or rogues. Could be rogues. Yep, rogues. So this is UB rogues. And this is match 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Match 8. That's my point. If you notice it, you should be able to then take note and see it happen again. If you only notice when it happens, but not when it does not, then you're not seeing the actual rate that it occurs. So this is another control deck, I guess. Kahira. Don't concede. I won't play a land. I won't play a land. Right. I won't play a land, so you won't concede. All right. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 is mirror. Right, and I'm getting another argument is a lot of people are seeing these things. They can't all be wrong. Well, that's why we're testing, right? Right? If they're right, when we test, we should see it too. The fact that we can't see it means that it's not there. It's not there. When you're actually looking at it, when you're actually looking at the times when it occurs and the times when it does not occur, you're going to see that in the big picture, these conspiracy theories do not happen. Oh. I should not have dropped the land so that he won't get spooked. Okay, I will not drop a land. We don't want him to get spooked. Okay. All right. Oh, this is nice. I want to see what this deck is. Oh, nice. Okay. So game 10, some sort of Esper graveyard deck. I'm just gonna write Esper combo. Alright, so those are our 10 games, and we were playing Jeskai Control, and we were matched against another control deck exactly twice, right? The Mirror and Grixis Control out of 10 times. So again, the claim that if you play Control, you get matched against other control decks most of the time, that's not true. That's not what we see here. All right, that's not what we see here. The meta is still diverse enough that sometimes you get Trickery, sometimes you get Ramen Up Red. It's still diverse. And even so, like I said, the matchmaker does not pair you depending on your deck. All right, so at least the matchmaking system in ranked. Of course, in unranked, in play, we do have the deck weight algorithm, which doesn't really matter. I mean, nobody like you don't play the play queue to be competitive anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But in ranked queues, there is no such thing. So far, we have not yet seen, to be brutally honest, out of hours of us doing this across so many different claims, we have yet to see one claim actually happen to us on streams. That tells you something, right? Right? But yeah, I mean, this is fun to do, and we will have more claims that we're going to test in the future. But right now, these two claims, they don't mean anything. They didn't really, there wasn't any evidence of it. And the best thing about this is that you can do this yourselves. You can do this yourselves. You can go stream, right? Streaming would be best so that at least you can record this happening to you live, right? And then show whether or not these things with the matchmaker actually happens. And it will happen. It will happen for some people actually. because that's how random is. Right? We are again, we are not discounting that these events happen to the people who experience them. We're saying they do happen, sure, but the point is that you getting paired against a certain type of deck using a certain type of deck X number of times does not mean that the matchmaker is somehow rigging the system to increase the chances that you get paired up against these certain deck types or archetypes. No. It just so happened that it happened to you, that a lot of people with those decks were in the queue with you at the time that you were playing, and so you were matched with them. That's all there is to it. There's no secret sauce here. All right? Okay, so that's it for me today. I'll see you again next time.